If as a leader, if I lack emotional intelligence, can I actually succeed in running a team?
Uh, you know, Good question there. I think emotional intelligence is very important. A lot of times, in most places, leaders are leaders by virtue of their experience, right? But then maybe they don't have it in them to be a leader and to promote collaboration and teamwork. So that's a set of skills that you have to develop if you're going to take up a leadership position. Very important to, understand the human makeup of the other person, and yeah, you emotional intelligence is absolutely key to leadership roles.
Okay. Okay, so going back to what you had mentioned earlier, Amrita, switching from one industry to the other, do you fight fear of failure in the initial few days and weeks?
See, I think you need to approach it with a lot of confidence, right? There are apprehensions, I would say. Fear of failure, well, everyone gets into a new job with a lot of unknowns, so there is definitely a percentage of that fear slash apprehension. But when you're switching industries, it's a lot more for sure. It's about, like I said earlier, it's about keeping an open mind, and you need to be ready to take on those challenges. For some people, challenges is a fearful word. For some people, they thrive on challenges, and I pretty much thrive on challenges. I like that whole new phase of unknowns and challenges. So yes, you need to have an appetite for that.
How important is it for an individual to have an open mind in learning new things?
Very important. And it's important because with a closed mind, you're never going to learn anything. If you think you know everything already, then there's nothing to learn, right? So it's important to go in each day thinking that there is more to learn. There's a lot more to do. And I heard my the airport, Bangalore airport's MD say this. He said he makes it a habit. He's been in the industry for so many years. He's an expert. He's the MD, right? But he still believes that every day he has to learn something new. It could be from anyone, right? But learn something new. I think having that open mind to learn something new throughout your life, not just your professional career, it's very important. And that shows in people who are ready to learn. It shows because you see them evolve from day one to day 100 or whatever, right? Every day you see that evolution in a person's thinking process, thought process, the way they execute things, the way they go about things. Yeah, so it's very important.
What are some of the things that you love about your profession?
So, right now I work with the airport. It still amazes me that I am sitting in a meeting room. I see a flight take off right outside the window, right? These are things that I'm still getting used to, though I've been there for about a year and a half. It's fascinating. And I keep going back to my time as a software engineer where I was sitting and just looking at code. Now I'm thinking of solving real world problems, right? Marketing is about solving real world problems. I do a lot of events. So there's so much of creativity. So at every point in time, if you can think of something creative, then you're just performing, right? And that's what you're there for. So it's very exciting that I'm able to put that into use at every point in time. Think of new ways to do things, and that really gets my adrenaline kicking in.
You mentioned marketing is about solving real world problems. Can you elaborate a bit on this?
Right. So as a marketer, what you're doing is you are talking to the customers, the audience who knows nothing. Okay, let me talk about marketing as looking at it as a B2C, right? So when you're talking to customers, you don't expect them to know the technicalities of things. You're just talking to a person who wants a solution for a certain thing. So it's just about applying your mind as to how are they looking at it, what are they looking for from a company in our marketing campaigns, right? Let me give you an example. Now, say we are promoting Digiyatra in the airport, right? why would somebody be interested if I said it's using this technology, that technology? It's about, it's helping that particular customer who's walking into the airport ease their journey, right? So you're just solving a real world problem there. They don't want to be standing in queues. So you're solving that for them by saying that, why don't you just download this, right? A simple example. So it's about just looking at what a common man is looking for and kind of building that perception in their mind that this could be used to ease your problem. So that's about solving real world problems. It's not like you're writing big codes or anything. It could be a simple solution to things through what you say.
One of the things that I hear time and time again is people in marketing sell things that are really not required. And what you've just explained actually gives a completely different perspective into the life of, or rather, how marketing actually can work. Would you like to give your point of view on this?
Sure. So, you know, of late, uh, it's important to start with the customer. What is it that the customer wants to learn? What is it that the customer is benefiting? So what we usually do is we put out the customer benefits first, right? You're right. I mean, marketing and sales has got this whole reputation of pushing things that a person doesn't need. So the way we work around it is, a, we create a need for it in the minds of the customers in a very smart, clever way, or we address problems, right? So we address problems in a very human way by telling them, by doing this, by buying this, by downloading this, here is what your solution is. Because it's also about making them aware that there are certain services for them. At the end of the day, products are built in the industry, products are built across the world to solve a certain problem, right? If you're going to be putting it in a way that the customer sees that it would benefit them, I think that's what is important, right? Approaching it from customer first. What is in it for the customer, rather than saying buy this and you will, running something tactical like saying buy this and you will get 5 extra, whatever.
What are some of the challenges in this field?
I think with marketing, the biggest challenge is to always stay tuned to what the current trends are, understand what the needs of that particular industry where you are is, and you know, with evolving technology, there's so much that needs to be done, right? And one very important thing with marketing is also, these days people's attention span is very less, so it's important to communicate what you have to, because marketing is communicating to the customers or to businesses, right? um, very crisply, and using content in a very smart way so that people are able to understand it. Earlier your ads could be for a minute or a minute and a half. Today people don't have an attention span of more than 3 to 10 seconds, right? So with all of the mediums that's available, social media and all of it, long format content doesn't really do so well unless absolutely necessary, right? In certain places we still use it, but when you're talking to the general mass, especially age group between 13 15 to 60, you have to have content being very snackable. It cannot be long, and you have to understand the pulse of the audience. So it's important to keep a check on, what's happening around, the trends, the pulse of the people before you market anything. You might have a great idea, but will that work? Will that connect your audience with your product? May not, right? It's important to let go of what you think is going to work and understand what works for a customer. So keep looking at it through the customer's eyes.
You talked about communication.
Hmm.
What does effective communication mean to you?
Effective communication is ultimately about what you're saying needs to be heard and consumed the way it has to be perceived, right? If you're saying something and the receiver, recipient of your communication isn't really uh, capturing what you said, then there has been a failure, right? So with marketing, it's always important to take a step back and look at what your objective is. What do you want to tell the customer? And then understand, do you how do you put it? Are you speaking the language that that person is understanding? Are you speaking on the marketing channel, communication channel that your audience is on, right? Are you speaking in the right tone? Are you sticking to, the tonality of your brand, right? So it's important that while you keep the authenticity and tonality of a brand, you also talk to the audience the way they want. They understand things. So that's, and on a larger frame, if you're looking at personal communication, again, it holds good there as well, right? When I'm talking to you, I need to talk the language that you understand. I need to also be able to understand your silence. I need to be a listener of what you're saying so that I'm responding to what you're saying correctly. And I also need to know when I should stop, right? I need to understand when someone's zoning out, when someone's cued in. So it's important to be a active and a passive listener.
What are some of the challenges or setbacks that you faced in your career?
Oh, Sandeep, I've actually had quite a few of them. Because they've very honestly, I've had a lot of breaks in between due to different circumstances, right? So from the time I went to the US and waited for the visa, there was my initial break there, but then just helped me move into a different career, so that was great. But when I also graduated from my masters uh, in the US, it was a very difficult time in the US because Trump had just taken in. I mean, he'd taken on as the president of the United States at that time for the first time, and they were not ready to sponsor visas. So it was a huge, huge blow for a lot of us who'd gone there to study, international students. So I didn't kind of get the break that I wanted to. Also, because I was married, there was this location constraint where I had to look for a job only where my husband was, because I'd already lived away and studied, gone to university away from my husband. So it was important for me to go back to where my husband was. So there were a lot of these challenges because of which I didn't get the, in all honesty, I didn't get the kind of job that I was looking to get as my first break. I worked with nonprofits because it was easiest to get my visa through those. I moved to India and got into real estate. I love anything to do with architecture, like I've said earlier, right? So I thought this would be my way of, you know, uh, getting a little bit of that into my profile as well. So loved working in the real estate industry, but of course, real estate is a male-dominated industry, so comes with its own set of challenges. And as much as I love marketing in the real estate industry, it does have a lot of challenges, work hours, and the kind of clientele you meet, and all of that. So yes, but was happy while I was there. And then I again took a small break because I had my child, and then I decided that maybe real estate will not work anymore, and I got into the aviation industry, which is also a male dominated industry. But it's always fun to put yourself in that situation and test how you're doing in a challenge like that, right? And marketing in the aviation industry, bringing in that creativity to that industry, it's exciting. I really enjoy what I'm doing. So challenges, yes, but I think I've enjoyed it.
So, Amrita, you mentioned that when you were expecting your son, you had to take a break. And then when you started to go back to work, how hard was it to find a balance between family and work?
It's never easy, right? Because you're also doing it for the first time, where you don't know how it is to work and also be there with a kid who's starting a lot of his first, like he just started school. So it's not very easy, but I think I draw inspiration from the other women that I see around me, and you learn a little bit about dealing with things by looking at your colleagues who are also in the same situation and working on things. Work life balance, it's also, I think that is where planning comes into place, right? I honestly I'm pretty cautious in the way that I plan things, right? I have a plan, I have a plan B as well, simultaneously worked on, just so that you're not running into last minutes. So it's important to plan your work well, and that kind of brings that balance to work. And that way I make sure that I'm not doing too many long hours, and I'm somebody who's able to compartmentalize my time, right? When I'm at work, I'm completely there. When I'm at home, I'm completely here, and I like to be that way. I don't want to come bring back work home. So I think just keeping that very clear, making sure that you're prioritizing that moment, you could establish work life balance.
Amrita, can you highlight some of the successes in your career?
Yeah, for me, success honestly comes from doing good work, doing work that I love doing, right? Because success follows that. Uh, been able to do that twice. One with my career in real estate, where I worked with a company called Carly Infra, where I was put into this position of leading the brand. And interestingly, we were rebranding Carly. So, as a marketer, this is a very exciting challenge to be able to work on a rebranding project, because you're there from the start, understanding why a company goes through a revamp and all of it. So it was very exciting, and it got a lot of attention, and it was pretty successful. So for me, success meant seeing all of what I had planned for a year go live right there. And the second thing, most recently with the airport, an ecosystem that I'm not familiar with at all, to go there and actually win a couple of awards for best team of the quarter as well as the year. And interestingly, I played a huge role in one of the initiatives where Bangalore Airport submitted themselves for an audition with this with Skytrax. So Skytrax is an organization that audits all airports across the world. It's a very coveted um, audit where they look at airports, they look at every small bit of an airport, and they grade them as 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, whatever it is, right? So we submitted our Terminal 2 for 5-star. Seemed like a almost impossible task, but we worked pretty much day and night, and we won. We got awarded the 5-star. We are the first in the country to get that, first and only airport in all of India to get that, as well as in the world. I think there are about 22 only. So it's a huge thing. It's part of that, and got me the team of the year. So pretty happy to have been part of such a historic win for the airport. So success, yes, if you're able to get the results, then that's what success is, right? You're working towards a goal and you're able to achieve that the results that you went for. That's success to me.
So, congratulations on that wonderful
Thank you.
milestone, Amrita.
Thank you.
And from Resolve, thank you so much for taking time off on a Sunday to share your professional journey and experience. I'm sure your experience would help a lot of people, and especially those who are planning to take up or venture into this field of marketing. Again, from Resolve, wish you the very best.
Thank you so much, Sandeep. It was a pleasure being here.